matter what you do with your life, you will do it better if you love it. Whether you want to found a company or advance a social cause or just want to escape the Canadian cold and go make art on a beach, you will do better at it if it's something that's passionate for you. And your passion will guide you and reignite your efforts in the moments of despair and self-doubt. And trust me, there will be dark days. The defining characteristic of an entrepreneur is not talent, it's not experience, and it's definitely not connections. It's the willpower and refusal to quit. And you don't quit what you love. So today we're going to talk about how the 3 stages of passionate progress work. First, we're going to talk about finding your passion. How do you discover an opportunity that stirs the fire inside of you? The second is turning that passion into your profession. How do you get your foot in the door of where you're going to end up spending the big percentage of your time? And third, we're going to talk about telling the story of your passion so that you can recruit others to your cause, be they investors or reporters or collaborators. How can you assemble a team and assemble momentum bigger than yourself so that you can scale your impact to its full potential? Personally, I feel immense gratitude that I've somehow found this path. 10 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing with my life. Luckily, I had picked one of the most lucrative college majors, sociology. At least I'd prepared myself for the job market by spending my summers interning on my parents' couch. It was really not helping me. But seriously, I had one philosophy that really did pay off. And that was that I was not going to do things that I hated. That's not to be confused with doing things that are hard, because just because you love something doesn't make it easy, but it does make it easier to stick with. If there's something you truly hate, you're not going to do a great job at it. At least not in the long run. It's not sustainable. You will burn out and you will become unproductive and you will be in need of a haphazard change of purpose that could leave you stuck in another situation that you despise even more. So, as I reached my senior year of college, I took a deeper look at what I really loved. No one else can tell you what you love. I cannot tell you. This is not going to be an easy rubric, but I found the most clarity in looking back to my childhood. Before I learned what were the reliably lucrative careers, things that might misguide me into thinking that I'd always dreamed of being a hedge fund manager. That's not true. That's not what I wanted with my life. Maybe that is what you want. Maybe your childhood was spent trying to negotiate a higher allowance so that you could give it to your friends in exchange for the desserts from their lunches. And maybe you really did want to be a hedge fund asset manager. But I personally spent my childhood fascinated by how my little group of friends interacted. Who was whose bestie? Who dated who? Who planned the parties? Who was the therapist when we had those horrible breakups and you listened to emo music for hours? I once actually wrote up little profiles of all my close friends. They were like baseball cards with their stats and bios, and I drew little diagrams of the popularity hierarchies and how our relationships evolved. It seemed weird, but it seemed to all be playing out over the communication technology of the day. I know it's a lot different now, but when I was a kid, that was AOL Instant Messenger and SMS back before phones had keyboards. That's when you had to actually hit the 7 button 4 times to make an S. You guys are really lucky, trust me. So little did I know that this was actually my passion in disguise. I had been creating Facebook profiles of my friends before there was Facebook and was enraptured by how the way we interact over technology and over the social communication networks and over the internet was beginning to change our lives. And so through that, I managed to find the career that I have now. If you guys didn't read the bio, I've been at TechCrunch for 5 years now, writing about startups. I've written thousands of blog posts about every big company from Facebook and Uber and Snapchat down to tiny little startups coming out of the fresh accelerators. And in that time, I've gotten to do amazing interviews with people that I really respect and believe in. People like Mark Zuckerberg or Edward Snowden, Senator Cory Booker, Dropbox's Drew Houston. But it wasn't really about the names or who I was talking with or how many blog posts I was writing. What mattered was that I was doing what I actually loved with my life. And so I believe that there are 3 defining characteristics of passion that you can turn into a profession. The first is finding something that you love enough that you can study and practice it endlessly without getting bored. And the second is something that's specific enough that you can become a world expert in it. It's not such a broad thing that there's millions of people who are already doing this. Find something more specific that you can be the best at. And lastly, something that actually provides value to the world. There's lots of fun things out there, but there's also a lot of fun things that really do make a difference and contribute to the world at large. And bonus points if you can find something that you believe is going to get more important in the years to come. For me, that was thinking, hey, Facebook seems really important. I think it's going to get more important, and that if I study this and I work on this, eventually, as it becomes more important, my contribution will hopefully grow in scale as well. So to find these kind of things, you can look deep inside, but you're also going to need to experiment. Take classes in different disciplines you might not have anticipated. Read books, watch documentaries, start a club and find collaborators who can accelerate your learning. Talk to people who are passionate about what you want to do, who are already in those fields, and they'll get you excited. And perhaps most importantly, learn to love yourself. You don't want your passion to fill a hole. It's not about getting from -1 to 0. It's about getting from 0 to 1. That means you have to be complete first. You can do that through close friendships, meditation, yoga, exercise, a romantic partner. But perhaps the most important way and the most efficient way that I've found to really find yourself is to lose everything else in life. Travel by yourself, if possible, and you can do so safely, to somewhere where you don't know anyone, where you don't have a plan, and where you don't have any responsibilities. A month is great if you can find the time, but even a week is great. The time away from your existing world will force you to stop compromising, to stop altering your plans, to fit what your family wants, or what society wants, or what your teachers want. Just go and get out there. Personally, I backpacked through Thailand for a month, and I could never have anticipated the change it would make in me. Somewhere between meditating with monks and dancing on the islands, something happened. The lack of other voices forced me to actually hear my own intentions. And removing the excuses, it removed the excuses for not following my intentions. The lack of compromise, it boiled off all the impurities in my identity, and I became a more pure version of myself, a more concentrated, distilled version of myself. And I came back eager to surround myself with friends who really liked me for me, and to find a job where being myself was an asset rather than a liability. In this clarity, you can too find your passion. Don't worry if it's outlandish or if there's not an obvious career path. Once you know the direction you want to go in, you can put all of your energy into getting there. So how do you actually do this? How do you actually get your foot in the door? By any means necessary. First, independently, start your journey towards this mastery of your passion. Write your own syllabus, read the books, write out your thoughts, create a specialty in your major, or take online courses, or if you can't, just bend every class project you have towards your passion. I wasn't sure that anyone was going to support my crazy plan to study the sociology of the internet, but I tried anyways. My school had a program where you can create your own master's program in a subtopic of one of the majors, and the faculty was certainly not sure that back in 2006 that Facebook was something that people should study. Is this whole internet thing really gonna matter? If it moves so fast, how can you study it? They asked me. But my steadfast belief was that, yes, this internet thing would change our lives. And as a freshman, I saw what Facebook did. Facebook launched when I was a freshman in college. I know that seems forever ago, but at the time, I saw people crowding around computers to explore and discuss the people that they were meeting. It was immediately changing the way that people were interacting. And it felt transformative. And I knew that eventually it was going to affect everything. Like I said, bonus points if you can find something that's going to grow in importance in the years to come. But B, if it moves so fast, that's exactly why we should study it. Otherwise, we're going to be overwhelmed by the changes that it creates. So I was fortunate that one of my sociology classes had a professor that forced us to blog. Any other professors out here? I highly recommend this. We had to write our essays publicly for the rest of the class to read. And that exposure pushes people to perform to their highest potential, to learn and to synthesize and present new ideas. And ignorantly, I didn't keep blogging after the class, which set me back years, but I was really glad that I got a taste of it. Today, I believe that blogging is the easiest way to prove your expertise in a field and open up job prospects. You don't have to write every day. You don't have to have a regular schedule even. And it doesn't matter if you don't have a big audience. You probably won't at first. That's okay. It still has two important outcomes. It teaches you to constantly learn and crystallize your own thoughts, making you sharper at applying them. And it creates a public record that you can reference and put on your resume to show people that, hey, I really care about this. This isn't just a job for me. This is my passion. People want to hire passionate people. Mentorship is another huge opportunity. I'm so glad that Legacy has these mentorship sessions here. Because for you to find a job that you're passionate about, it's easier if you found people who are already passionate about it. Especially if you can find people that are in the range of about 3 to 8 years older than you, I find that to be the most effective. Because these are people that are in the life phase just after yours. So if you're in the middle of college, find someone who's now happily in their first job. If you're graduating, find the person who's now in their second job. You want to know everything that they wanted to know about that last phase, everything they learned. What do they wish they studied in college? What do they wish they'd done through their job interviews or finding where they want to work? That's going to be really helpful for you because otherwise you're just never going to be able to find what you really want to do. Because honestly, there are a lot of mentors out there, but I'm sorry for all the adults in the room, but things are different now. Life changes really fast. And somebody who's 15 or 20 years older is not going to really understand the way that the current job market works or the way that the world works for you. So it might seem great, and I know that personally at my college they had mentorship programs where I could study with one of the professors, but they went through college 40 years ago. How are they going to possibly help me in the specifics of finding my passion and turning it into my profession? They're great at teaching me the skills, but I had to find my own way to apply it. And that means finding mentors who really get you. So, just one second. Sorry, having a little technical difficulties up here. Great. Sorry about that. So for me, this trip to mentorship was great. It was really helpful, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to get out there and actually get experience. You're going to learn best by doing. Unfortunately, you might not be able to do what you want to do directly out of college with a sustainable salary, but you still have to try. So if there's a company where you're sure you want to work at, take any job that you can get in the building. History is rife with business moguls who started in the mailroom. If there's an unpaid internship, but it aligns with what you really want to do, and make it work as long as you can. Just start getting experience either where you want to work, even if it's not in the role you want, or doing what you want, even if it's not at the pay you want. For me, my first blogging job paid $20 per article. That is not even close to a sustainable wage if you're living in San Francisco, where the rent is a bad joke. I could write 3 articles a week if I was lucky.